Welcome back. You're watching Talk Solent, and with me today on the sofa are three Talk regulars, the two Mikes, Mike Stratton and Mike Andros Zaeus, and Helen Davies. To conclude this talk, we're turning our attention to the lovely Helen, one of Talk's regular life coaches. More and more people are seeking life coaches now, and amongst the under 35s, it's more popular than ever. But what about life coaching and advice on life's day-to-day challenges? By text. A new service has been launched called Shine, where you can even have your own designated coach available by text, a real, actual human person. But is this really proper life coaching, though, via text message? Who better to give their reaction to this article than
me?
Lovely Helen Davies.
Okay, I'm just trying to look at the positives and the negatives of this. So,
have you heard about this first?
No, I haven't. Not until I read the article. No. It's good. It's modern. It fits in with today's society. If it's under 35s, then it's probably very apt with the mobile phones and whatever else. The only thing I'd worry about is it's not in person. That's the only thing. I know there's a lot of things done online, but I do prefer the person-to-person type of coaching. That's the only thing, because they can't see body language, all the signs, those types of things. If it's very, what we call surface intervention, so if it's, I need advice on this today or whatever it is, then great, that can be fired across on a text message. But if it's anything deeper, then a personal interaction.
You need a conversation,
yes.
And not a conversation which takes as long as a text conversation.
Yes, because you can't do all that over text message. Well, you could, but you'd be there for hours. So yeah, it's a good thing, but also.
And it's obviously a more, I suppose some people might say, a more cost-effective way, but you're not really talking to somebody, are you?
No.
But, there's a whole range of different things that somebody might be going through or want advice on, like facing criticism, trying to let go of need to exert control over everything, overcoming procrastination, practicing patience, learning self-compassion, and so on. So it's quite a list.
See, some of those, some of those are not text message help things, if you know what I mean. They're not text message helps. Overcoming procrastination, you can give somebody tips, but it normally goes deeper to why they're procrastinating in the first place.
Yes.
So it will only give so much, so it'll only give a surface intervention help, whereas anything that's deeper, it won't. So it's good for that, it's good for things like, I'm going into an interview today, I need some confidence tips or something like that is great, but anything deeper, no.
I suppose if you've got your own designated life coach, surely they wouldn't be able to reply to you immediately anyway, because they might have loads of other
like in between sessions, as long as the person knows that and it's not something they need urgently, then. So
surely a lot of the text message would be a bit general and generic, because to have a personal one from a personal life coach,
it's good they've got
instantaneously, that wouldn't work, would it?
It's good they've got continuality with one person and one coach. That's good. So they haven't got to explain something over and over again, and they're getting that one coach's help on something. That's great. I like it and I don't like it.
What about life coaching by text, Mike? I mean, would you be happy with that, or would you rather have somebody face to face?
For some people, definitely, but I think it's probably better overall to have that tuition face-to-face with somebody like a personal instructor. I think you're going to get better results in that situation, I think. Yeah, definitely.
Mike, just before we carry on talking about life coaching, just to digress for a moment, you've been back to the studio, haven't you?
Yes, I have. Yeah.
You've got some new singles in the pipeline. A lot of your material is on SoundCloud, YouTube at the moment.
Bandcamp did a few bits and bobs as well. But at the end of the day, I had an overdue layoff of some years, but luckily I've been able to go back at the time in life that I am, and I can still hit out some pretty good chords.
You've got quite a falsetto voice, isn't it? Very
I certainly
unique.
did in my youth. When I look back on it now, when I was 20, I could hit some fantastic chords, and even in my 40s. When I warm up after several minutes, I could get that sort of tone in my throat that could sort of perform an Aretha Franklin or Whitney Houston kind of sound, which was amazing. And I was so honoured that I could sort of match some of their sounds. And yeah, that was a great compliment.
And you've done a fair amount of. You've got a few humorous things in the pipeline, haven't you? You know, you have.
I have, yes, yeah.
So they're not all just love songs.
No, I mean,
more than just
I've written
love
comedy script ideas, and I did want to speak at some point to Harry Enfield about some ideas, and Paul Whitehouse, and I was hoping they were going to put out some scripts that I've been writing.
Well, you never know, they might be watching.
Well, that's it, really. Somebody that might be involved in comedy. I had some great ideas with that, and also I had enormous
You were thinking of doing
talent.
some drag, weren't you?
Yes, yeah, I was. And as well as that, I do have a passion for jewellery as well as a business under a totally different identity. And that should be getting some commercialisation again, hopefully within the next few months.
Can I just say, if you ever need a life coach,
Yeah. I'll
Here I
come
am.
to you.
There you go.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes. Because life coaches do get a lot of people coming to see them who have got, who are quite ambitious
yes,
and have got aspirations and
motivation, all those types of things. Yes, to keep them motivated towards their goals, setting goals, achieving goals. Yeah, all those types of things.
And
So it's
also
not-
giving a bit of structure to it, because, like with many things, when you're in your own head, in your own world,
It's hard to see things. Yeah, hard to see clarity. So yeah, it's not just people that have issues. There's, it's also people that want to progress from where they are, and professionals, people, and that want to achieve things. In their business
but you're also a nutrition and fitness coach as well.
Yes, I am. So yes, I do lots, and
That's why I
meditation
thought
teacher.
the walking item would appeal to you.
Yes, and I jumped in there straight away, didn't I?
You did.
Yeah.
Sounds like all three of us really have multi-talents.
Yeah.
And you
There
as
you go.
well, John. We're
Yeah.
all gifted with something in this
But
world.
haven't you also,
And it's how we use our potential really for it.
Yeah.
Some people have something, but they don't always want to practice what
And
they've
Mike,
learned.
you've got a very niche,
Yeah,
a very niche craft,
yeah, it is a craft.
very quirky,
It is a craft. Takes a lot of skill.
involving Kenwood food mixers,
Yes,
which is from the 60s, 50s,
50s,
70s.
50s, 60s, 70s, 80s,
Which you restore.
90s, millennium.
I do.
And they're good. A lot of re-engineering a bit,
Yeah.
and parts. But yeah, I enjoy it, and
I
it keeps me off the streets.
I remember one of those James Bond films, I think it was Moonraker, where you actually see Roger Moore doing a test thing for the space program, and he's in what looks like a giant Kenwood mixer, and they
Go
do
around.
this. That's
Is that
right.
the G-force?
Yes,
Yeah.
the G-force machines, and they look like giant mixers, literally. And you get put in this thing, and you're whizzing around this circle. God knows how many revolutions per minute, and that. And I think it must take
I have seen
God.
that.
Oh, that looks
remember
quite
that.
torturing, actually.
The guy who invented them
Yeah.
was a very, very intelligent guy. Turned him into a multi-millionaire overnight.
Oh yeah, I bet it is.
Friends with some of the family.
So how did that, in a nutshell, how did the Kenwood niche with you start, the food mixer niche?
I worked in engineering for 6 years. I had a business before that which I could see was failing. It wasn't failing through my own fault, it was failing because my customers didn't want to pay me.
That could be a problem, couldn't it?
Made me very ill. It did
Yeah.
cause a problem. It destroyed my marriage. It made me very ill, and I decided to do something that I thought, well, I've done engineering, started as a hobby, and it just turned into a business, and it's a good business. Ridiculous amounts of work, and very popular. But it has a sentimental value. It was Nan's, it was Mum's, it's going to my granddaughter.
A bit like with jewellery.
So it does it. And vintage is in. Vintage is big in.
Yeah, I can believe
Especially
that.
if it's British vintage.
Yeah,
Yes.
whether it be fashion, music,
Yeah.
and also
Other
Accessories,
various
yeah.
technologies that
Yeah.
exist. at the
British
time, yeah.
vintage is in big time. Vintage jewellery, vintage anything, home crafts, people making things out of nothing. I've got so many followers on Twitter which have their own businesses with home crafts, handicrafts, jewellery, textiles, and anything vintage that looks vintage, sell it.
Do you sell to businesses as well then?
No.
You don't?
I've got a couple of restaurants that use me for repairs. I tend to stick to the private market, but it's ongoing. It's ongoing, time consuming.
Now, and I completely changing the subject. I thought, because we've got a couple of minutes left, it would be rude not to ask for your initial reactions on the recent news on you know, the High Court ruling and Brexit and the delays with coming out of the European Union. Don't worry, Helen, I'll leave you out of this one.
Thank you. I was like,
How did you, in a nutshell, just we've got a couple of minutes left, how did you feel, Mike, when you heard this most latest development?
I didn't take any notice of it because we're going to do it anyway. So whenever we do it, it's not going to make any difference. I thought it was going to have a massive impact on my business and other small businesses. It hasn't affected me at all. Well, I say it hasn't affected me at all. It's quietened down a little
You're
bit.
confident this will go ahead? Brexit will go ahead?
I think it will go ahead, and I want it to go ahead. I want Britain to become an independent country and be a little bit more self-sufficient.
Britain has to feel British
like
again.
It was back in the 70s and the 80s.
Agreed.
Like, you know,
we want Britain to feel British.
We will do better as an economy if we come out of the EU.
I think so in many ways.
I do.
I believe that.
I do strongly think that we will. I'd like to see it happen. If it doesn't, it doesn't.
And on that note, to wrap up this show, Mike, you also do a few impersonations, don't you? You did one earlier.
Really?
Yes.
Which impersonation did you want to do? We've got about 30 seconds left.
Thank you very much for watching, and we will see you again next week. Bye.
Who's that going to be? I wonder who that is.
One of Jonathan's voices. Years ago.
yeah.
Hopefully the viewers recognise that.
I'm sure they do.
Was it accurate?
Yes.
We could do an interview
accurate?
with Peggy.
And she's yes.
She's
although-
to come. She's
Yes.
to come.
Next time, yeah?
Yeah, next time.
Talk Solent returns next week, of course, and at the same time, all the best. Thanks for watching. Great to have your company. Goodbye.